Welcome back. In the other big story we are tracking, the Supreme Court, while hearing a batch of petitions over the alleged irregularities in NEET exam, said it expects timely action from the NTA and that the agency must ensure that all candidates are treated fairly. The next hearing is on July 8th. Mind you, last week the NTA told the Supreme Court that grace marks given to 1,563 candidates in the UG exam would be scrapped, and the candidates had the option of taking the exam again on June 23. The results of the retest will be announced before June 30. If any of the candidates chose not to retake the test, their earlier scores would be reinstated without the extra marks. But demands have been growing to completely scrap all results from this year and conduct a retest for all. While hearing these petitions, the Supreme Court made certain very stern observations and gave a certain guideline or direction to the NTA. It said if there is even 0.001% negligence on the part of anyone, it should be thoroughly dealt with, and that all of these matters being brought to the court should not be treated as adversarial litigation. The court observed that children have prepared for the exams after much hard work and they cannot forget their labor. The court also observed, imagine a situation where a person who has played fraud on the system becomes a doctor. That person is more dangerous to society. The court stated that it expects timely action from the National Testing Agency in the case, and it added that if there is a mistake, it's best to admit it and take action so that it inspires confidence in the performance of the NTA. The future of lakhs of students is hanging in the balance. The Supreme Court has issued notices to both NTA and the centre. But this is what really went wrong as far as the exams this year are concerned. So firstly, high number of candidates achieved 720 out of 720 perfect score, which raised many eyebrows. 67 examinees secured this top spot nationwide, all achieving All India Rank 1. And most perfect scores or near perfect scores actually came via one exam center, which raised even further eyebrows. 2 petitions were filed challenging NEET-UG results in separate high courts. In fact, petitioners have alleged in Patna that there was a mass paper leak in the Patna examination centers. Many examinees allegedly were given question papers and answers for 30 to 50 lakh rupees. The NTA dismissed the paper leak charges but was left red-faced when actually police started making arrests. Gujarat and Bihar police have arrested quote-unquote paper solvers to 41 NEET-UG medical aspirants. The question we asked today though is this: is it necessary that the entire exam should be set aside and everyone should give a retest, or should it just be retest for those whose questions or answer sheets are in doubt? That's coming up with our guests.
हमारी तो मांग तो है कि ये करप्शन जो नीट के माध्यम से केंद्र की सरकार कर रही है, क्योंकि कंट्रोल नीट के ऊपर केंद्र सरकार का है, तो केंद्र सरकार ने ये कंट्रोल हटाना चाहिए, नीट के एग्जाम कैंसिल करना चाहिए और पहले 12th के आधार पर जो एमबीबीएस में एडमिशन मिलते थे उसी आधार पे करना चाहिए।
आज हम लोग इसलिए बैठे हैं कि केंद्र सरकार इसके ऊपर सुप्रीम कोर्ट मॉनिटर्ड जांच कराए।
Supreme Court honorables, I will plead with it. Ask them to conduct again the exam. That is the only solution. It's a big fraud.
Joining me now is Professor Badri Narayan. He's Director, GB Pant Social Science Institute, Allahabad. Anjali Vishwakarma is actually one of those students who's given the NEET exam this year. She's joining us from Mumbai. And Maheshwar Peri is founder and chairman, Careers 360. I do thank you all for joining us. Anjali, I want to begin with you. I believe you have scored over 600 marks. But are you willing to give a retest, which is the demand of most of the students who have fallen trap to either paper leaks or, some sort of grace mark situation? Do you think retest is the answer for all?
I believe that retest is like where sometimes it's fair or it's unfair for many students right now. Like us, as we did our hard work for like 1 year and we're able to achieve score 600 plus in order to get a good government seat this year. But unfortunately, we're not getting one this year. So I think it's unfair for us. But if this is the only solution, so that we can eliminate those people with grace marks and with paper leak and all. So I think it's fair enough to conduct a re-exam.
Okay. Right now, the solution that the NTA has offered is, Anjali, that those who have certain question marks over their marks, they have the option to give a retest. Uh, do you think it should stay at that? Because, you know, you've scored pretty well, actually, 600 plus in your exam. Having to go through an exam like this all over again is, I'm sure, a lot of mental stress and otherwise. So do you think this is where it should stay, that those who are being given to take given the option to take a retest do it, but not all students like you?
Like the grace marking system which I have given, 1,563 students have given grace marks this year. Plus, we are not able to catch the people who have actually gotten paper through the leak. So I think we cannot conclude that there were only 1,500 students who have secured good marks. There can be people who have secured even better marks with paper leak as well. I
Okay.
feel like there is a high inflation between scores 600 to 700. So I think this is the range where it's like very much, we can say, suspicious enough to see that why there is such a great inflation of on the same marks there is like 2,000 students sitting there. So it's
Right.
like,
So you're saying
I feel
for
it's
the
impossible.
sanctity of the marks to be restored, might as well just reconduct the exam, because you don't know who has benefited from what, and there's no clarity on paper leak situation as it stands right now, unfortunately, apart from the grace mark situation. And can I just ask you very quickly before I go to my other two experts? Even with your high marks of 600 plus, because of what has happened with grace marks and other things, you are not confident of securing a seat of your choice this time? Is that the case?
Yes, ma'am. Since I am a second year dropper, we have this mindset that we have to score above 610 marks to secure a good government college through AIQ or through state counselling. I scored 612 marks and I was very much confident enough to get a government college via state counselling. But the rank just shattered the dreams and hopes of getting college this year.
Okay, let me go across
Yes.
to Professor Badri Narayan as well. How do you see this situation? This is just terrible on students. And it is raising huge question marks on the NTA and its the agency itself and its competence in organizing these exams.
I think you're very right. Actually, this is the question. This is not the question of politics. Actually, political parties, oppositions, we are taking this as a question of the politics. Actually, this is the question of the deep social concern of the people. And you know, government clearly said, you must have heard the statement of the Honorable Education Minister. He said that even anyone who is involved in this kind of crisis, they will be punished. And today, Supreme Court has also said that we will not, anyone who even 0.001% discrepancy, if it is found, that person will be, or that system will be punished. So there is a government is with the public, government with the people, and wants to correct the system, the problems which have emerged because of the society is rotten. The entire educational mafias, this mafias who are involved in this kind of touts, dalals, and all, they are active in doing that. NTA has tried to make, why NTA came? NTA came because there was a lot of paper leak in earlier states.
Yeah.
So NTA came as a reply of that, but and evolved a system. But even in that system, they have injured. If they have injured and they have tried to paper leak or leak the paper or various kinds of discrepancy, it means we need to strengthen NTA. And also we try to it's the government and needs to take care of each and every student who are part of this process. And it's very right that, and it's good that our education minister, Professor Dharmendra Pradhan, who is a very sensitive person,
So,
and the entire system is very sensitive towards these young guys. and they are going to tackle this problem very seriously.
Where do you stand? Should there be a retest for all? Because according to the government or the NTA, the irregularities are minimal. They haven't really gone for a retest for all so far. Where do you stand on that?
You know, I was reading the Supreme Court verdict today. In that, both the justice told to the NTA, if there is any mistake, please accept. Where is that mistake? And what will be the corrective measure? Like, kindly tell to us. That will strengthen the
Confidence in the
trust,
agency. Yes.
Trust in the NTA. I think that's the solution. Here, a solution to the problem lies. I think NTA should tell that where is the problem and at what level this problem are.
So they've accepted the grace marks problem, right? They've identified that. And they've obviously given the option to those who received these grace marks to reappear for an exam, or their previous marks without the grace marks will be registered. That is some relief, but we don't have any clarity on the leak situation.
Yes, you are very right. Actually, still we don't have very clear picture that there are paper leaked at various places or few places. I think let the inquiry goes ahead. When the inquiry will go ahead, the things will be clear.
Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time,
then the answer will come from the
yeah, but there's only about 5 days to go before this retest happens, and then another 7 days before the results are announced again. So we don't have a lot of time to wait for a police inquiry to tell us or give us any clarity. Mr. Perry, where do you stand? Do you think this year's scam and exam and process should be scrapped and it should be done all afresh with some sanctity restored in the marks that students get?
See, I think NTA, Shivani, has been found wanting in terms of its transparency and accountability through the sessions, right? They've only responded to specific questions. They've never answered in a true, fair and complete way so that it ensures that all doubts are cleared. You know, even this 1563 came out because there was a question that was raised of how students got the 717, 718 and 718 marks. They were not forthcoming. They were asked and they were forced to give that response. That's the first part of it. So to trust NTA at this point in time to ensure there is greater transparency of information is, is not completely correct. The other thing is, all we know is the outcome. The outcome has been pretty bad, as the student here was saying. Last year at 600 marks, you actually had a 26,000 rank. This year it's 80,000 rank. So the score versus rank inflation is almost 3x of what happened last year. Like for example, last year at 710 marks or 715 marks, the total number of students was 294. This time it's 1770. So you actually have a score to rank inflation of about 3x to 10x at times, right? So because of that, these students who otherwise would have got a good government college at 610, 612 marks are not likely to get them because there are 40,000-50,000 students who streamed in at a top level, right? That is very unparalleled. It is not just about 67 toppers, it's across the board at up to 600 marks. There has been a massive score inflation because of which there is a rank inflation that happened. Now this couldn't have happened normally. To trust NTA to deal with that is completely wrong. Now NTA has been playing, softball for the last 45 days on this matter. Ideally, if I were NTA, I need to regain my credibility. I need to regain my credibility so that in future no exam is questioned again because it's done by NTA, right? So how do I do that? I go through a forensic and technical audit and say that so many students or so many centers seem to have been impacted with something that happened and then reconduct. See, to do it for 24 lakh students is a massive exercise, mind you. It's very traumatic, extremely traumatic for students, right? But they didn't even take that first step because they always are trying to give a clean sheet for themselves instead of letting someone from outside investigate the books.
Now they've accepted that much, that two centers have come under question, one, and 1,563 students got grace marks.
Shivani, I'm sorry, that is wrong. Because those are only caught. You don't tell me that, because a theft has been caught, only those two have happened as a theft. Okay. The paper leakage, if it's happened in 2 centers, could have happened in 25 centers. If 1,563 students got a grace mark, it is because they complained. Hundreds of thousands of students wouldn't have complained about a delay in paper. Remember that. See, remember how it all happened. The 1,563 students approached some courts because of which they got a grace mark. Are you telling all the students from now on that once they write an examination, they must go to a court so that NTA hears you and gives you a grace mark later? That's not how it works. You and I have never approached courts, and you're expecting students to go to the court so that they can get a grace mark, which is what these 1,563 students got. The number is far more, and that is where I'm saying the rank inflation is 60,000, which means, in my opinion, a lot many more students are affected, impacted, or gained unfairly.
So what I'm understanding
And
from
that
what
needs to be
all
corrected.
three of
that
you,
can only happen through.
from what all three of you are saying, Mr. Perry, there is no other option but to reconduct the entire exam, at least for this year.
No, no, no. What I'm saying is, if you go to a technical or a forensic audit, you will be able to isolate centers or places where there seems to be a rank interference of the scoring sheets. And assuming the forensic audit says that it is a large scale thing, you conduct a retest. But first understand the quantum or quantify the extent of the problem. You're not able to quantify the extent of the problem and saying all 24 lakhs, whereas I'm saying limit it if possible through a forensic test. If still it shows nothing, then you move ahead and do a retest.
But is
at
there
least
enough
open
time for
yourself
that?
an investigation, which is... Oh yeah, forensic audit will take not more than 7-15 days, nothing more. They've been playing hardball for the last 45 days. All they need to do is to open the books. For technical audit is simple. Digital footprint is all over the place. Forensic audit is simple. Data inferences are very simple. A statistician would be able to do that for you. You're not opened yourself up because you're always, hard pressed to give yourself a clean sheet. And even even the minister spoke like the spokesperson of NTA. He was not speaking on behalf of the students. He as a minister should be speaking on behalf of the people of India. He's speaking on behalf of NTA. That is wrong.
You know, interestingly, the problem that happens when such cases arise and then they become caught in legal matters is that the timelines are just harrowing and exhausting, because the re-examination that NTA is proposing is on June 23. The next date of hearing is on July 8th. So how do you reconcile these timelines? I mean, this is just going to cause so much delay and so much heartburn to the students.
On July 8th,
can you say something?
Yes, sir, I'm coming to you. Yes,
if
Mr.
Supreme
Perry.
Court finds that there is a big problem, on July 8th, if Supreme Court were to find slightly anything more than what NTA till now has come out and disclosed, trust me, Supreme Court will go completely against NTA.
No, I'm sure they can scrap the entire results on July 8th, but I'm just saying that that is still time lost for students, right? Yes, I have final 2 minutes left. Professor Badri, you wanted to come in, but can I also ask you a question? This is a problem. The NTA, I mean, it was formed as a body that to solve these problems, and now it has a crisis of credibility. How did we go so wrong?
Yeah, as I said, that there is an entire mafia who are working in the education system. Education kind of mafia. They are trying to injure any kind of foolproof system, and the NTA came to reply to those system and those kind of problems.
Right.
I think that's why I said that there is a need to strengthen NTA and restore credibility, and whatever possible for that, I think NTA should do. And I would like just to tell on my friend what he said. This entire ministry, the government also, is very clearly saying that we are the government of the people, and we will protect their each and every interest. And Manya Dharmendra Pradhan, the Education Minister, is saying since many days that we are with the students, and we will not allow, we will protect each and every interest of them. And whatever possible, we will do for them. It's a very clear.
Yeah, and I think he has also suggested that there will be reform or some sort of a relook at how the NTA functions. Very quickly, Anjali, I have 15 seconds. What is your hope from the Supreme Court? Anjali, I think you've muted yourself.
I am sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just hope that Supreme Court does justice to us students, because it's a hard work, and this field actually requires hard work. We students aspire, we aspire this course, is what I'm saying. So they need to do justice to us.
Let's hope there can be some semblance of justice as far as this entire matter is concerned. But let's also hope that NEET doesn't become the casualty of the politics it has faced because of what is happening as far as this year's exam is concerned. That is also very important to keep in mind. I do thank our experts for joining us.